This used to be a bridge. Now it's a culvert. In fact, if you look very closely, you can see remnants of the bridge down there lying in the water on both sides. And it would flood. See how the bridge was actually higher on both sides, or the land on both sides of the bridge was lower than the bridge itself. So the approach to the bridge on either side would flood quite a bit. It looks like now on this side it doesn't dip down quite as much, and the bridge is not as high as it used to be. Mosquitoes are getting me. But we used to come down here and shoot very regularly. I can remember coming down here in the middle of the night with some of my friends like Peterson, Jeffrey Peterson and others, blasting off shotguns and everything. My buddy Bobby Lundgren, he and I used to come down here and shoot quite a bit. And just right up that road, a few hundred yards, is the gate into where we used to live. And I can remember more than once trekking through these. It's not really a swamp, but it does flood kind of regularly. But I can remember trekking down that hill over there, behind the cesspools, or behind the, kind of sewage ponds, I'm not sure what you would call them, and walking through these woods and trying to hunt squirrel, and just really enjoying living out here. The place we lived was a little trailer park with, I think it had about 8 trailers, and the guy who owned the place, Mr. Clark, he was an old fella. Even back then, he's probably long gone. And it was surrounded on all 4 sides by National Forest land. That's what this is. We're actually out in the National Forest. I guess during the Depression, whoever couldn't pay their taxes, they ended up turning it over to the government, and then whoever owned that parcel back then could still pay it and kept it. At least that's what Mr. Clark always told us. He was in his 70s back then, it seemed like. But yeah, there was a little bridge here, and now it's a culvert. One of the things that struck me so far during this trip, and talking about how old Mr. Clark seemed, I met a major in the Army earlier today, Major Farrell, really good guy. But he seemed so young, so incredibly young. And the commander of the 258th MB Company, Captain Chrysler, great guy. He gave me a tour of their company facility. Couldn't take a lot of pictures in there just because, it's a sensitive area somewhat. But, talking to him about commanding a company of 159 military police and all of his responsibility, and he was only 29 years old. I mean, think about that. I've often told people that at the age of 22, I have more responsibility than I will probably have ever again at any point in my life, and I think that's true. But standing out here in this forest and looking over there in the water and the swamp just really brings back a lot of memories. A lot of very fond memories. Driving around Fort Polk today brought back a lot of bad memories. I've forgotten how much I hated that place. After being stationed in Germany for 3 years, coming to that cesspool was, it was not fun military police work like I'd done overseas, and it seemed very big and bureaucratic compared to, I don't know, what I experienced in Germany. And so, driving around the post today, the military installation, I didn't really have a lot of fond memories. I mean, in fact, it actually brought back some negative ones. But out here, where we lived, this is really, this is where I have my fond memories. And I remember it a great deal. And so, trekking around these woods, I was actually thinking as I was driving out here that I don't think I've driven or walked out here without a gun before. And it's not that I feel that I need one, but it just says something about the way we lived our lives back then. And if you look, you can actually see the remnants of the bridge, I guess before they decided to put a culvert in instead. The bridge was pretty old and pretty dated. I don't know if you caught it, but we're several miles down dirt roads. And growing up in North Carolina, where most of the roads are paved, it was kind of foreign to make a right off of the main highway, or it's a little back road highway to tell you the truth, and then go down a dirt road and make a left on a dirt road and drive several miles. And every once in a while you get these cows in the middle of the road that wouldn't get out of the way. And I had a little Datsun 210 back then. And this road, when it rains for several days straight, it just turns to mush. And it looks like they've kind of graded it recently, because you do get really ridged with potholes and everything. It looks just the same as it did back then. There's a few little changes, like there's a little parking area over here by the bridge, I guess, for people who are enjoying the National Forest or doing whatever. That wasn't here back in the day. But driving down that road, down another dirt road, and literally probably a couple of miles down dirt roads to a little tiny secluded trailer park. You can remember the power went out here quite often because all the power lines had to go through all these trees. But anyway, it's been right about 30 years since I moved in here. 30 years ago. That would have been 1990. And I didn't spend a lot of time at Fort Polk. We were deployed to the Gulf War and to Panama, but still, the time that I did spend here, just, I'm going to turn the camera off and just kind of sit back and feel the forest and remember what it was like to be a 21 or 22-year-old guy, 22, I guess, running around here, shooting things up and having a good time. Feel pretty good. Feel pretty good remembering this stuff. Signing off for now. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.